Hello, Serious Survivor here. What will a vaccine passport look like? What will it entail? There was a new patent that was approved on August 31st of this year that does just that. And it is very concerning. The level of tracking, intrusiveness, and violations of privacy are truly unbelievable. But first, a quick word from our sponsors for this video. Now, if you've been keeping up with the news, or even if you haven't, you might have heard the word tapering being used a lot. It's the new Fed buzzword, and you'll hear all kinds of meanings for it. But what it really means is Washington has to repay around $30 trillion it borrowed. Guess where that's coming from? Yep, your pocket. Janet Yellen said we'd never see another financial crisis in our lifetimes when she ran the Fed. Now, just 4 years later, she's warning of catastrophe, and here we are. Our friends at Noble Gold can keep you safe and protect you whatever happens next. By starting a precious metal IRA or 401k, you can fight the coming wave of inflation and ride out the storm with your savings intact. And as a bonus and a thank you, you get a free 5-ounce solid silver America the Beautiful bullion coin with each qualifying plan you start this month. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com or call us at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. Patent and trademark attorneys Dr. Gal Ehrlich and Meyer Finster of Ehrlich & Finster recently had a U.S. patent approved for a technology that aims to surveil people using their digital activity. This application will give them a score that defines the potential level of super spreading activity of each individual and then vaccinate people based on this score. I'm going to read directly from the patent here. This patent was approved on August 31st of 2021, and it's patent number US 11,107,588B2. Now, the abstract or the description of this patent is a system and methods for anonymously selecting subjects for treatment against an infectious disease caused by a pathogen. The system comprises the use of electronic devices comprising instructions to generate an ID, and when in proximity of one another, such electronic device, one or both electronic device transmit and receive the ID to and from the other electronic device. Then a score is generated based on these IDs. Additionally, based on information received from a server, relevant treatment instructions are displayed to the subjects based on the received information and the score. Now, what this patent actually proposes is collecting a wide range of personal information from sources such as mobile devices, apps, social media, web browsing, personal records, payment records, medical records, employment records, government records, and surveillance cameras. And these surveillance cameras actually include the cameras and microphones on your actual cell phone. I encourage everyone to look in the description below for the link to this document and read this for yourself, and you'll see that I'm basically just reading from this document here and describing what it does. There is no supposition or guesswork with this. Now, it also suggests collecting highly specific personal information using such sources as precise location data or GPS, the length of time that people spend at locations they visit, the ventilation rate of the places people visit, images of people looking at the screen of their mobile phone, sounds from the microphones in personal devices, and facial recognition data, which is widely used at a lot of facilities worldwide and in the US. The patent proposes numerous potential surveillance applications for this data, which include detecting when people are using public transportation by using geolocation and/or regular start-stop movement that matches a public transportation profile, monitoring when people are washing their hands by analyzing sounds of water or movement by a smartwatch, and checking whether people are wearing a mask by analyzing images taken during calls or other times that you look at the screen of your cell phone. Once the data has been gathered, the technology outlined in the patent will then analyze the data and assigns a score to their electronic device. It uses this score to predict the potential level of super spreading activity of each individual and recommends vaccinating according to a score. Not only does the patent suggest mass electronic surveillance of people to create a social credit style score score that determines whether they should be vaccinated, but it also proposes and is being pushed that the technology could be deployed as part of a dedicated mandatory app where the government may order the citizens to install a dedicated mobile application on their smartphones or other devices to help the government with the logistics of the vaccination process. The patent also adds, in some embodiments of this mandatory system, the app or the smart device is configured to inform on the user's location at all times and to communicate with adjacent smart devices. Example, using Bluetooth to access interactions between users. For example, the vicinity between users, the movement of users. So this is going to be used to not only track you but to see who you come in close proximity with. And this is basing the score on a lot of different things. Criminal records, the type of job you have, your education, your medical conditions, and your political beliefs. We are all being categorized with this ID system due to the fact that it's using all of its online resources to assign us an ID number. And this includes our social media, our YouTube, and things like that. When it comes to factors that determine an individual's score, the patent suggests a person's profession, medical data, the nature and type of locations they visit, the nature and type of people they visit, their frequently visited locations, and the length of time they spend at locations will be used as part of the calculation. And it does go to point out one thing specifically. Quote, in some embodiments, subjects that are prone to frequent religious or secular events, like a synagogue, a church, or mosque, where the people are in close proximity to each other and talk, pray, sing, or breathe deeply, will receive a higher score than those who do not frequent religious events. And just for the record, the higher the score, the worse it means. The patent was approved on August 31st and follows governments around the world implementing increasingly far-reaching surveillance measures amid the coronavirus, such as vaccine passports that aim to exclude people from economic and social activities, and apps that use geolocation and face recognition to enforce police quarantine. And here are some examples. Let's listen to what the Prime Minister of New Zealand has to say.
People who have been vaccinated, they want to know that they're in a safe environment.
So you basically said this is going to be like, well, it's almost like, you probably don't see it like this, the two different classes of people. If you're vaccinated or if you're unvaccinated, you have all these rights. If you are vaccinated...
That is what it is, so yep.
And after hearing that, we also have heard what's going on in Australia, and with the latest comments there, they also are implementing an app, and we'll listen to those comments now.
Us making some difficult decisions, and that's to keep people who are not vaccinated out of some of those venues that we've been talking about today. Don't play that game of let's just wait them out and then we'll be able to do everything we want to do and have not got jabbed. No, that will not be the case here.
And here's an example of the app that they're using. Now, we've known for quite some time that the government has used our cell phones, our computers, the cameras on them, the microphones on them. This was brought out a while back by Edward Snowden. I think most people are familiar with that. And no matter what our feelings about Snowden may be, he did expose a network of criminal activity performed by our own government. They were literally recording everything we did. Now they're attempting to make it completely legal, even though it pretty much already was with the Patriot Act. Now they're going to be collecting this data and analyzing it in a way that's going to track who we're talking to, who we're with, how long we spend there, what we do, and even when we wash our hands. And then when your score is high enough, it's going to send you a message, and it doesn't just send you a message, it also alerts government officials that your score is now high enough that you are a risk factor. So one day, when this app is mandatory, if it becomes mandatory, then you may very well see a presidential alert or something similar to that pop up on your phone telling you to report to the nearest vaccination center or isolation camp. Well, I just thought I'd share this. The link is in the description below. Make sure you check it out. This is very important because this patent is approved, and this is going to be a form of our vaccine passport that we're seeing. It's not mandated yet, but it's going to be very soon. Well, thanks a lot for listening. God bless. And for now, Serious Survivor, out.